most renowned journalists in Judo. I know he writes outside of Judo, but certainly in Judo, the most eloquent. Please, John Goodbody.
Huge honour to be here present to honour Neil, a person whose performances I've seen all over the world, and a lot of other people have witnessed them as well. I think the best way of summing up Neil's technical ability is the fact that George Kerr, last time I saw him, and unfortunately can't be here tonight because of a family bereavement, he said to me once, Neil Adams had more technique in his little finger than I had in my entire body. And George was a very formidable fighter in his day. Neil's range of techniques made him, without any question, in my opinion, the finest male judo fighter we've ever produced. I never saw John Newman, who just preceded me at the Budokai, but I've seen everyone since Brian Jacks, Dave Starbrook, right the way through Ray Stevens, Denzine White, Elvis Gordon, all of them. And Neil stands out for me as the supreme male competitor. Amongst the women, different matter. Karen Briggs versus Kate Howie would be a fair old match as far as the leading competitor is concerned. But what I always remember also is whenever I went to Japan during the period Neil was competing, I'd go to Nobuyuki Sato, who was then the coach of the Japanese team, and I'd be talking about the Japanese team and who they were going to pick. And his first question is, how is Adams? And you had to then tell him how Neil was, because they always regarded Neil for his range of technical ability. So it's, as I said, an honour to be here and to give to you the opportunity of asking various questions, which I'm going to get Neil to come up and answer. Thank you very much.
I am a little bit worried about this. I think the questions are there. I'm not sure if they've been vetted, but we can try our best.
Let's start off with a slightly light-hearted one from the new Mr. and Mrs. Milner. Neil, how have you avoided cauliflower ears despite years of judo?
Ducking. I have a story about cauliflower ear. I never had a cauliflower ear at all. I avoided it. I did all of the World Championships, the Olympic Games, and European Championships, the British, all the way through the years. And when I was 29 years of age, I remember I was doing a practice, and it was in celebration of one of the big championships. And a brown belt kept just flicking the end of my ear, and I thought, that's sore. And I was 29 years of age, so a brown belt actually gave me the little bit of cauliflower ear that I have. I did, before it came up, managed to throw him a few times just to settle the account. But it stayed with me forever, and it will be with me forever. It's not too bad, but it could have been worse.
Right, we're absolutely delighted to have people coming from so far away, particularly from Belgium. And here's a question: what do you miss most about Belgium?
I miss you guys. You know, I've got to say that we've got some of my full-timers from Belgium. I went over to Belgium, I had 4 years there, and it was a wonderful time in my life because I was in charge of the Belgian team, and as you know, I was very fortunate that I had the full-timers here in the UK for 16 years, and we had a great time. They're all here now, or most of them are here, helping me to celebrate. And we had such a great respect all the way through the training. They have now become my friends. We were friends then, but I was the boss. But we are now dear friends. And when I went to Belgium, I kind of carried it on and started with a young group, and we trained together full-time for a period of time. And such respect, and I tried to lay technical foundation, technical skills into them, and we had a lot of success, and we won Belgian championships, and I think helped on the pathway. And I've obviously got some really respected friends out there, because they travelled all the way over from Belgium yesterday and today, drove on the wrong side of the road. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but, and they're all here. I miss you guys, and I miss being able to coach you, because you were fantastic to coach, and I'm just so honoured that you've shared this with me. Thank you.
In fact, going on from that, if you were ever to be offered the position as head coach of Belgium again, would you do it?
I'm sorry, but no. The reason being that I think everybody comes to a kind of a crossroads in their lives, and you find a different direction. And I think that there's more opportunity now to help develop the young coaches and help bring them through. So I think that that's certainly, we have different coaches, don't we? Different kinds of coaches. We have motivational coaches, we have technical coaches, we have coaches that are very, very good with teams, and they're able to take teams forward and get a lot of success for them. And I like to think of myself as a technical coach, and so if I can help in that way to help develop some of the younger coaches to be able to present properly and present in a better way, that's my main aim with the NA legacy that we've got going forward at the moment. So we're pushing it hard, I know, and I have my lady there, and you know how much she pushes hard and how hard she pushes, but it's because of the belief, and it's because we believe in what we're doing.
If the 59-year-old Neil Adams could go back and give the 18-year-old Neil Adams one piece of advice, what would it be?
58.
What do you think?
I think if I could go back, I think what I try and say to a lot of the youngsters is that we need to be compassionate. We need to be polite. I think one of the greatest things about our sport is that we have an ability, we have a chance to give more, and we always push it as more than just a sport. And I think it gives us a chance to be able to give youngsters a base in their life. It shows respect. And, we watched the young Italian just recently and winning the Olympic Games. It was amazing. I mean, to watch such a youngster just have the moment and the day of his life to win the Olympic Games was incredible. And he's the only person ever to win an Olympic Games and throw a back somersault in the middle of it, all right? And he threw a back somersault, landed it. What I would say to him, as I would have probably, you can see there, I was 23 years of age when I won the Worlds there, and my hands were all over the place, uncoordinated when I was clapping them. But my hands were all over the place, I was celebrating, and the referee just calmed me down and just said, show respect, you've got to show respect. I think it's one of the things, when we have a look at the Italian, I would probably say to him, you could have thrown a back somersault going down as you walked off the mat, but show the respect to the people that you're fighting. The Korean that he was fighting, he needed to bow, and he needed to show respect to the referees that were also in charge of it. And I think that that's what, any mistakes I've had in the past, in my youth, and and a lot of you know what they are, right? But I'm hoping they're not in the question. They really are. Any mistakes has been because of a lack of thought and lack of control to a certain degree. So I would say just control it well. You know, choose your time. We saw also, didn't we, the bad situation at the Olympic Games with the Egyptian. And you know, the thing is, we don't know the history as to why certain things happen, but he could have shown respect to the referees and carried that off better. So I think the roundabout answer to the question is to be a little bit more thoughtful in the way I presented myself.
Going on from how you presented yourself, here's a question from Dave and Sue Wiggins. Neil, do you remember the parties in Carlton Road, and why did you dress up as a woman?
See, this is one of the embarrassing things of having family in the audience. Okay, so my cousins here have asked a very embarrassing question. So one of the things that my brother hated it actually, but it was a bit of a dare. I was told to wear some. Wanted to see what I look like as a woman. All right, the pictures are up there. Actually, some of you have probably not seen them. All right, that's because I'm going to get up there before and I'm going to take them out, so you can't see them. But no particular reason, and it's nothing to do with how I've turned out, and certainly nothing to do with how I want to be in the future. But it was just something that took me by at that particular moment, and I felt I had to do it. I did look good, by the way. You have to see it to believe it.
With the orange wig, yeah. If you didn't have Judo, how would you have envisaged your life?
What's that? Drag queen, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you never know. You never know. I think if I hadn't got Judo, it would have been something else. I'm such a focused person, and I think that with a lot of the top athletes, you know, you look at the great Teddy Riner now, and you could look at his Judo, and you could say, well, if he did anything, he could put his mind to most things or a lot of things. Not most things, but a lot of things, and he would excel at them. And I think because of my grit, my determination, and I still have it now at my age, 58 by the way. And, I still have it. I have that grit, determination, and I still want to do well, and I still want to achieve. So I'm not finished yet, you know. So my Judo career, the competition side and the coaching side has taken a different slant, and then of course my presenting side, you know, with the commentary and stuff like that. I just want to do it to the best of my ability and do a good job. So I think that whatever way, you know, I've been lucky in my life that I've been able to change direction, but I've worked hard to get to where I am.
What was your most memorable Judo win? Your victory in Maastricht?
Yes, I mean, certainly it was. I have my most memorable wins, and I have my most memorable defeats. As we all have, you know, we've all got one of those, haven't we? That we look at and we think, I'd change that, or I'd do a little bit differently. And I think the one with in Maastricht, I got up on that morning and I knew that I was going to. I knew in my head that I was going to win it. You know, so it was one of those occasions where everything was right, everything was aligned. I had good physical condition. And it wasn't the best draw, but it wasn't the worst draw, and everything went right. And so it was a great day for me, and one that I'll never forget.
And as a contrast, what's been the most embarrassing Judo moment that you've had?
I'm glad you said Judo moment. I think the most embarrassing Judo moment was one of the most important Judo moments of my life. And one of the most embarrassing moments for me is when I got strangled by Jean-Pierre Gilbert in the final of the British Open. Yes, in the final of the British Open. And I think what happened was Jean-Pierre Gilbert gave me a gift. He gave me a gift because at that particular moment, I think my standing was about 70% standing, 30% groundwork. And so it enabled me then to really dig in, and I was embarrassed. I was just more embarrassed of what people would think of me, because I'd never lost on the ground before, and I vowed that I'd never lose on the ground again. And so it was something that made me train super hard to bring my groundwork up to 50-50, what I like to be 50-50 with the groundwork and the standing. So he gifted me. He's a very dear friend of mine now. He's a wonderful man, Jean-Pierre Gilbert. I hated him at the time, right? No, I didn't. It was a gift. It was a gift that he gave to me. I was embarrassed at the time, but actually it helped me win many, many contests.
Who is your favourite judo competitor at the present time?
I think I have a few. At the present time, I think at the present time it has to be Ono, and we could say that Ono is arrogant, and we could say that he is very, very confident. I think he's got a little bit of the arrogance, and he's very, very confident because he's very sure of his ability. So for me, he has the best technique. He has such a wide range of techniques. He is the all-round judoka for me, certainly. And for blood and guts, I think Iliadis was one of the best for me, in as that he was so determined, one of the hardest trainers that I knew, and he never gave up. He just never gave up. I think for this Olympic Games, he just passed his best. It didn't quite work for him, but he had 10 years at the top, 11 actually, where he was a world or Olympic champion. That's an amazing feat.
Who's your own sporting hero? Not necessarily in judo, but in any sport.
I think my sporting hero is Steve Redgrave. And for me, Steve Redgrave is somebody that competed over 5 Olympic Games, 5 different Olympic Games, trained even the last one where he had diabetes, and he was able to go through the process, the 4-year process of building up to an Olympic Games, competing in an Olympic Games, and not only that, winning gold medals at each one of them. A great man, and also a great ambassador for the sport.
Now, a personal note, where did you first meet Nikki?
What is that we get in there?
Yeah. Nikki and I, we knew each other before. Nikki's a little bit younger than me, so I knew her when she was younger. So we met
Get
a
to
couple
the
of
point, Adam.
so we met a couple of times prior to it. The 2000 Olympic Games, we were both commentating. I was commentating for BBC, and Nikki was commentating for CBC, 2 booths away. So after, I had to fall upstairs to try and get her attention a few times, but I managed it, and I came out the winner. Absolutely.
Here's a question from Al. How wide should a pair of flared trousers be to pull the girls?
This is a question from somebody I've known since we were 11 years old, right? He always had all the gear, everything, right? And I don't know if anybody knows far enough back when loons were all the rage. And loons started off at the knee and came out and finished at the end of your boot. And if you had a pair of them, you were cool. He was cool, and I had a pair of flares handed down from 2 generations, right? So I wasn't quite so cool. And he'll tell you a different question. But I was jealous, but he had 2 pairs of them as well, so that's not fair, is it? Yeah.
Another light-hearted one. What 3 people would you invite to your dream dinner party?
Richard Branson, and yeah, Bruce as well, of course. And I think that's a good one, isn't it? Straight on the.
You're always a big Margaret Thatcher fan.
Yeah, I mean that was a big one. Well, you can see why I didn't say that.
I was at the door, people.
Yeah, I think if I could go back in time, Abraham Lincoln, who was meant to be one of the best American presidents of all time, I'd like to go back and have a conversation with him. I like a lot of his quotes. You can see that we've got a lot of the quotes that we use, not necessarily Lincoln's, but I've got a book full of his. And that would be certainly somebody to go back in time and have just a conversation or two with him.
What's your favourite, funniest memory in judo?
Funniest memory? God. Chris, we've got a few of them, haven't we? My goodness.
Colourful.
Yes. Peter Donnelly over there, I have to say, he was going to pose some questions to me. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen. Peter Donnelly was in the team. He was the captain of the British team, 26 years of age when I was just 19 years of age. So we all looked up to Peter, and we at this one European Championships in Vienna, Peter got a bronze medal. We had Chris got silver. I got the gold medal at the European Championships. We had a fantastic one. We went out to this bar and had a few drinks. And Peter Blewett there did his Mick Jagger impression naked down the centre of the bar.
You've fought a huge number of outstanding competitors over the years. Who would you have liked to have fought that you didn't?
I think I've got people that I wouldn't like to have fought, but have the utmost respect. I think Jun, the Korean, I think he was so superior in his weight category against some of the best people. He was superior. I would have liked to have fought him just to feel it, but I wouldn't, if you know what I mean. All right. And I think Fuji was also Shozo Fuji, who was 4-time world champion when the World Championships was every other year. So over a 10-year period, he was a world champion, and he was an amazing one. So he finished just before I kind of came onto the middleweight scene. So I don't know whether that was fortunate or but he was one of the greatest for me.
And never fought in the Olympics.
And never fought. And this is the incredible thing, that Shozo Fuji shows the Japanese amount of depth. Shozo Fuji was a 4-time world champion and never qualified for the Olympic team for Japan. He never won the Olympic trials. And the people that beat him for the 3 Olympic Games, each one of them won the Olympic title. So such is their depth.
What do you think it takes to be a true champion?
For me to be a great champion, I think you need passion. I think you need skill. You need the skill, and you need the work ethic. Because for me, you give me a group of people that want to work their socks off, that are willing to give you their life in training, and then you can improve them, and you can make a massive difference. So I think it's very, very important that we have that will to win and that ability to be able to train. Because I've seen a lot of people with natural ability don't make the grade.
Now, from the group who kind of come up from Wales, what are your fondest memories of your period in Wales?
I had a wonderful, and Nikki and I both had a wonderful time in Wales. We enjoyed every second of our time in Wales, and it gave us an opportunity to regroup, rethink my coaching strategies. I worked hard with the Welsh team, not at the highest level, but we developed some youngsters. I made some absolutely amazing friends, and they stayed with me and still with me right now, and so I'll carry that with me for always. And we just loved it, every second of it.
Who's your biggest inspiration in becoming the athlete you are, and who did you look up to most?
I think I had several people, that I looked up to. I had, I looked up at the great champions. I mean, Vladimir Nevzorov was the great champion when I was coming through the ranks. Brian Jacks, of course, was a great inspiration to a lot of people in this country. He was a pioneer. He was the first world medalist that we had, the first Olympic medalist. And I used to look at these people. I remember Brian Perriman saying to me one time, because I said, oh, I want to be like these. I want to be the second Nevzorov, or I want to be the second Fuji. And Brian Perriman said to me, he said, you don't want to be the first, the second one of them. You want to be the first one of you. And that always stayed with me. And I thought, I'm determined to do it on my own, and I'm trying, determined to do it as me.
Now, moving on to one or two questions about you as a commentator. What's your funniest memory as a judo commentator?
It's Chris Bowles, but I'm not going to say the story, right? No, because
Say the story, Neil, go on.
No, I can't. I can't because it's disrespectful. But, needless to say, what I will tell you, all right, is that we had a dual commentary together, and Chris didn't realise that it's a bit like me being mic'd up now, and our gentleman over there turning our mics off when I'm at the table, all right, but it's like me sitting at the table there and they've forgotten to turn the mic off, and we're saying certain things that we shouldn't say, right? So Chris there is saying certain things that he shouldn't say in between the commentary, and it was live. So it was a funny thing. It was, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but it was funny at the time, but we did get reprimanded at the time as well. We did.
Were you,
Yes.
were you more nervous fighting in the Olympics or commentating on it?
I was more nervous fighting, but I think that with coaching, with fighting, and with commentating, if you're commentating an Olympic final, that what you're commentating stays with those people. I didn't realise when I started the job, I didn't realise that I had people coming up to me saying, I'm just so glad that you were commentating and because you had the passion behind it, and they keep that with them forever. They have it with them because they remember the fight, they remember the moment, and I was part of that moment, and I bring it alive for them. So that is that's my honour to be able to do that. So I'm nervous because I want to get that across at every Olympic final or every match that I commentate. But the other thing is that when you're fighting, and I always call it the Olympic tunnel syndrome, and you're walking out to the Olympic Games and you're coming through that tunnel, and your knees go, and your legs collapse, and you're not sure whether you can get out there, and you've all had it, all of you there, whether it's a grading or whether it's a competition, no matter what it is, and your legs are going, and you're just not sure whether you can carry it through. But the aim is to be able to dig in there and just start the process. Once you start the process, then it's easier. And I must admit, I've had people coming up to me now saying about the commentary, what do you know about Taekwondo, right? I've had several say to me, all right, well, and what do you know about wheelchair fencing? But it's like any job, you have to do your research, and actually, as I got into it, I was more nervous about those particular assignments because I'm not as confident in those particular sports, of course, as I am in judo. But actually, once I'd started, I was determined to try and do a good job for them. And I tried not to be the expert, but what I did try and do was try to be sympathetic to the fighting elements of the sport, and to put it across that way. So it's, I was nervous, I'm always nervous whether I'm taking a coaching course for kids or whether I'm doing an international training course with Iliadis in it. I'm always nervous, but it's how you cope with the nerves.
What's the greatest contest you've ever commentated on?
I think one of the greatest contests that I commentated on, I think it was in the early days, there was, I think it was Koga against Chang Su Lee, right? It was Chang Su Lee. And it was, what happened was he couldn't grip. Chang Su Lee had been all the way through to the semi-final of the World Championships, and he threw everybody. And Koga had gone all the way through to the semi-final of the World Championships, through everybody. And so this big moment, and I did a big, massive build-up to this particular moment. So he comes out, and Chang Su Lee thought, haha, you're not getting the sleep, right? So just no way you're going to get that. And Koga came in, one-handed Seanagi. Of course, we all know it now. Everybody's tried it. I know you have, all right? One-handed Seanagi, and he throws him with the biggest Seanagi. Chang Su Li nearly went through the ceiling. And he throws him out. It was just a gut feeling, but wow, like, you know, he threw him one-handed, you know, and it was one-handed, and it was directly from the gut, and it was something that I really felt. And I think that was one of the greatest moments, although I've done some great ones since, but I think that was one of the ones that people mentioned to me. Yeah.
Moving off now from commentating on to something rather different, interesting. Would you recommend a mountain bike for a 65-mile sporting ride? And what advice would you give around 35 miles?
I suspect that this question has probably come from my son, who's sitting over there, right? Who suggested to me that I'll enter us in for a 65-mile race on a bike. No preparation. I was away somewhere. Yeah, good idea. Okay, like that. He said, what bike will you be riding? So I said, I'll ride, my mountain bike. It's comfy. I know the gears and everything. So I turn up and everybody's on road bikes. Everybody. This is a serious road race, right? Everybody. So everybody's looking at me as if to say, "You've got to be kidding, right?" So I got about 20 miles in. I said, and everybody that was passing me said, "That's amazing. What you're doing is just something else, right? Either you're absolutely off your trolley, or that's something else." And then after that, it was just crawling. I was just hanging onto his tail the whole way. And at one stage, he was going up the hills, coming back for me. I said, if you go back up and come back for me one more time, I'm going to push you off your bike. So we said afterwards, we were halfway around, I said, I'm never going to do this again. If I do a 65-mile race on any bike, it's going to be a road bike. Yeah, for sure. Was it you that asked the question?
It wasn't, but I know where it's come from.
Oh, right. Thank you for that. Thank you, Kevin.
If you were made a millionaire today, what would you do with the money?
I am the best person to make a millionaire. No, I am, because, you know, then what happens is if you make me a millionaire, then you won't have to put up with quite so much stuff on Facebook. I'll semi-retire, and then I'll help a lot more people. I mean, we're trying to help as many people as we can anyway, but I'll help a lot more if you semi-retire me, and then I can concentrate on other projects.
And finally, two questions that we can put together because they sort of look forward. If you didn't have judo, how would you envisage your life? And you've achieved so much already. What goals or ambitions do you still have?
I have, if I didn't have judo, then I would redirect it. I have so many goals and ambitions that I would still want to do. Our legacy program with the coaching, we're pushing it as hard as we possibly can. The education of coaches, which I think is important. Making coaches responsible and also assessing coaches with their progress. And I think we're pushing that as hard as we can. I'd like to see Britain back on top, absolutely, clearly on top, with the depth that we've had, and I'm pushing hard for that. As far as the commentary and things like that, you know, I'm just so pleased that I was proud of the Olympics. You know, we had good Olympic Games, good Paralympics, as far as for me, for a commentator. And I had a great experience doing it, and added a couple more sports to my resume, which was a great experience. But, you know, it's just adding to it, just never being satisfied. And if I do a bad job, or if I don't quite perform as I'd like to, then I just keep trying to correct it and be better.
Fine. Well, that ends the questions. Thank you very much for the questions, and thank you, Neil, so much for answering them so eloquently and so forth.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody here, please, all, just listen just for a second. I just, a couple of things just to finish off, just to say, which I think is important. Do I miss competition? Yeah, I do. What I miss most is, I would say, the simplicity of life. And by that, I mean being able to get up, train, go to bed, eat, train again, get up, and repeat the process, go to competitions, easy life. And it was a shock to the system, I have to say, when all of a sudden it was all over. And I think that that is something that happens a lot, isn't it, with athletes? They need redirecting. You know, so I was lucky that I picked up on the commentary and the coaching afterwards. But I think we need redirection. But it's the simplicity of life, I think, that I do miss. Would I do it all again? I would do it all again in a second. I would. Would I do it differently? I would do it a little bit differently. I might change one or two small things. I might attack a couple more times in that 1980 final. And I might move just a little bit off to the right in that 1984 final.
You should have held him down.
I should have done. I should have done. I know that now. But I think that we got most things right. We got a lot of things right. We got the amount of championships that we got right and almost right, you know, considering the amount that we were able to train and the restrictions that we had. So we got those things right. And so I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful that I had such an amazing career, and I'm grateful that a lot of you out there, and you know who you are, all right, the ones that helped me on the way and on that pathway. It was amazing. It was something that I will never forget, something I'll carry with me. My training partner here as well, Chris. I mean, Chris and I were together for a long, long time. First competing in the under 5 stone 8 category in 1969. All right, and it helped to build a friendship, you know, because we were then in the team together. We travelled together. We became such close friends, and you know, if I need somebody, I pick up the phone, Chris is there. If he needs somebody, he picks up the phone, and I'm there for him, you know. And that's what the Judo family is all about. We heard it earlier with everything that happened, you know, with Stephanie. Everybody pulled together, because that's what we do, you know. And all of you that are here. I'm grateful to everybody that supported me. I'm also grateful to the ones that didn't, because you make me what I am, all right? You helped it anyway. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, but that's the way it is, isn't it? That's the way of life, you know, because sometimes we have to dig in and we have to bounce back, because sometimes the life's like that, isn't it? Sometimes it's the ups and downs, and then sometimes you have to pick yourself up and you have to go again. And I like to think that that's what I've done. The legacy program, well and truly underway. We just talked about that. The idea not to live forever, but to create something that will. And that's what we're trying to do, is to create something that will live a long time, will help people. I've had some special thank yous to some very special people who have helped to make the Gala celebration possible. Hannah Brown, our event planner, a massive round of applause for her, because without her, this would not have been possible. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. The meeting started 9 months ago, and they never stopped, believe me. Gordon McCarthy for the merchandise, Andrew Holland, who's been doing our store. Thank you. Gordon, thank you. And I'd like to thank you as well for your endless suggestions and innovations to our projects, because they are always on the phone, always texting Nikki, and they're always giving ideas. Yeah, why? Yeah, I think about that. Jungle Buddy, for the reporting that you've done over the years on me, and it's all been good, I have to say, except for that last one, 1988. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Most of them have been absolutely amazing. Jungle Buddy is our friend. And thank you for the question answer as well, John. Eddie Hennessy, he's been walking around, and you might not know it, but Eddie is thank you very much, sir. That's Eddie there. And he's given up his time to come here and to photograph us all. A very dear to me. Thank you very much for this. Tom Everly for videography that he's been doing, just the movie with all of the video and things like that. Tom, thank you. Stuart Etherington and his crew from Hello Vis, thank you. Hello Vis, thank you very much for everything that you've done for us to make this work. And my partner in crime, Sheldon Franco Rooks. Sheldon, all right, just stand up, thank you. Sheldon is my new partner in crime as well with the commentary now. We're starting to do the streaming together as well as the live broadcast for all of the Grand Prix, Grand Slams. So more often than not, you'll see Sheldon and I all hear us together. So, yeah, great team, great team. Thank you. And Lisa Lancaster, who has organised the charity side of things and all to do with the cancer research that we obviously all of us hold very, very close, and we've all of us been touched by especially the earlier film that we saw. It did have some very moving music actually. I think we'd have all been in absolute tears if we'd have had the music as well. But Lisa, thank you very much for everything you've done. And I have a final loyalty award, all right? And this is for somebody that without this person and without the work that she put into this, with all the meetings that she's been to, and not only that, to all of the support that she gives me. She's not only my partner, right, but she is the most loyal and wonderful person, and she just backs me 100%. She believes in what I'm trying to attain, and she is my absolute backbone. And I'd like you to put your hands together to thank my wife, Nikki. Wondering why a rat. Okay. It has a little bit of a story. We have another one that matches it a little bit, and it's something that she wanted. It's something that got lost. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing this with us. This is a very special day. Getting round to all of you. I just love what you've done here. It's supported me, and I hold that true to my heart. Thank you very much. Let's all dance, all right?